Welcome back, everyone. Tonight, we're diving into a new batch of eerie Reddit horror stories. Whether you're winding down in the dark or just in the mood for something spine-tingling, these tales are sure to keep you hooked. Let's get started. A perfect woman. I'll just take these boxes downstairs to the garage. I tell my boyfriend, Chase, putting another holiday serving platter in the cardboard box. I'll take it for you, sweetheart. I know how heavy all 100 of your Christmas platters are, he says, smiling mischievously and kissing me on the cheek. Hey, I laugh, swatting his arm. I want to be prepared if we ever have one of those Christmas parties like the movies, where dozens of people come and I save Christmas somehow. He laughs and picks up the box. You're right, I need to be manifesting that for you. He winks and disappears down the stairs, shutting the door behind him. My spring cleaning has run amok in the house, but I think I've got the last of it sorted. Our house isn't huge. We have a 2-story house with 4 bedrooms. Beautiful exterior, I just wish it had more storage. I smooth the bedspread on the now cleaned guest bedroom and smile at the room before closing the door behind me. Chase is coming in from the garage when I come downstairs. Boxes all put away? I ask. Yes, but we officially can never buy anything else ever again. He laughs, opening the fridge to grab a beer. Well, when we get our next house, I need more storage. The attic is too small, and I want a basement. We can turn it into your man cave, too. I smile, wiggling my eyebrows. He smiles at me, a lazy smile. After 5 years together, he still gives me butterflies. Anything you want, sweetheart. And that goes for dinner, too. What are you thinking? He leans back on the counter, opening a food delivery app on his phone. Chinese. I would love to learn how to make Mongolian beef at home to save money, but unfortunately you do not love me for my cooking skills. I tell him, looking into the fridge with a sigh. Ah yes, how could I forget when you so infamously almost burned down this very kitchen the first time you came over. After you insisted you could cook us a whole meal, he sneaks up behind me and wraps his arms around me, making me squeal. See. I can't possibly be your dream woman, I can't even cook. I whine between giggles. He smooths my hair. I have everything I need, he says earnestly. More butterflies. Once our takeout comes, we are eating in front of the TV when I hear a tapping sound. Do you hear that? I ask. Chase responds, not looking up from his takeout container. It's a tapping sound. Is it coming from the dining room? I put my food down and get up to walk that way. Babe, I don't hear anything. Could be a pipe. This house was old when I got it, and it's even older now. He calls from the living room. When I reach the dining room, I still hear it. I'm starting to pull out furniture to inspect when I hear a hard thump. Then the tapping stops. I rush back into the room, and Chase is picking up his beer bottle off the floor. Foamy, brown liquid is now staining the rug. God, I'm so sorry. I reached for my beer and I knocked it off the table. Could you grab me a towel? He asks, moving his food to the coffee table. Of course, I'll be right back. I grab him a towel and we clean it together, comes right up. Did you figure out the tapping? He asks me, picking up our trash. Oh, no, I didn't, must have been a pipe. I respond, looking back towards the dining room. He nods. If you want, I can call the plumber to come out and check everything, just to make sure it's not something important, he says, heading towards the kitchen. Oh no, I'm sure it's fine. I'll let you know if I hear it again. I smile. Later that night, after we had gone to bed, I wake up with a startle. I'm gasping, covered in sweat, and shakily looking for the switch to the lamp at my bedside table. Chase, Chase, I whisper. The lamp flares to light. Chase isn't next to me. Chase, I say a little louder. Silence. I get up and walk to the bathroom. Sometimes when he can't sleep, he will take a shower. The bathroom is empty, but I take time to splash my face with water. He must have wanted a midnight snack. He's probably downstairs. Chase, I call out at normal volume. I am just passing my doorway, heading towards the stairs, when I see Chase. He's halfway up. He looks relieved to see me. Sweetie, hey, are you okay? He asks quickly, taking my hands and looking at my face. Oh, yes. I just had a nightmare. I think I can't even remember what it was about. I trail off, looking at him. He looks red and like he broke a sweat running to the stairs. Are you all right? I ask. Yeah, I'm good. Sorry, I went downstairs to watch TV and I must have dozed off. You calling my name woke me up and I thought you were hurt, so I ran upstairs to check on you. My adrenaline is through the roof right now. He laughs, but it doesn't meet his eyes. Oh honey, I coo, you're my white knight, always trying to save me. What do you say? We make use of that adrenaline. I playfully tease my finger on his shoulder. He smiles and shakes his head. Oh, I would love to, but I'm all frazzled right now. How about I take a shower and we snuggle instead? He asks, wrapping me into a hug. Of course, that's probably the right idea, I respond. Once he's done in the shower, we do exactly that. The next evening, Chase has his monthly work dinner. He's an anesthesiologist, so the money is great, but his coworkers. Not so much. You sure you'll be all right? He asks, checking his tie in our hallway mirror. Yes, I'll be fine, I respond. We do this little routine every month. I'll catch up on all my obnoxious reality TV you hate. Ah, I don't know about that. TV is broken, he responds, still focusing on the mirror. Since when? I ask. Dinner yesterday, some of the beer splashed on the box. I'll get a new one this weekend, don't worry, he says, smiling, turning towards me. But you were watching it last night, I thought. That's why you came downstairs. I say, and it comes out sharper than I intend. His expression doesn't change. Oh, well yeah, I tried to come down to watch it. That's when I noticed it was broken, so I fell asleep. Sorry, I thought I mentioned that, he explains with that easy smile. No worries, I'll just read. Go knock them dead tonight, you always do, I say, giving him a good luck kiss. I wave at his car leaving the driveway, and I turn and go back to the living room. I pick up my current book club read and open up the next chapter. I start to hear it again. Tapping, Jesus, really? I say, putting my bookmark back in and heading to the dining room. It's softer tapping this time, but still steady. Tap, tap, tap. I take out my phone and send a message to Chase. Tapping is back. We should call plumber tomorrow. I put my phone in my pocket and look around. I pull up rugs, looking for any pipe leaking. Tap, tap, tap. This is so weird, I mumble. I look at the china hutch, it's been there since I moved in. It's ugly as sin, but Chase says it's a pain to move. It belonged to his grandmother, I think. If any pipe is broken, it's behind that old thing. I push my shoulder into it and start to scoot it. To my shock, it moves pretty easily. I move it a few inches when my phone starts to ring. It's Chase's ringtone. I hit the green answer button. Hey, sorry, I know you're driving. I start. Hey, he says, so the tapping is back? Same room? Yeah, I've been moving stuff around to see if there's any water leakage, but I don't see anything. I trail off, looking at the floor next to the massive hutch I just moved. Oh, sweetie, you don't need to move anything around. You'll hurt yourself. Just go relax in a bath. I'll check it out tomorrow, he tells me. He sounds off, I can't tell why. Yeah, maybe you're right. I just tried to move your grandma's hutch and it is pretty heavy. I laugh softly into the phone. He's quiet for a moment, then he bursts out in an exaggerated laugh. Yeah. It's really heavy, such a pain. I'll get the plumber to help tomorrow. Just don't touch anything else tonight, just relax, he says frantically. Okay, I reply cautiously. I'm sorry, I'm just worried about you hurting yourself. I'll deal with all that stuff tomorrow, just go and try to relax. Okay, I tell him, I will. Promise, he asks, and I can hear his blinker turn on. Yes, I promise, I respond, still looking at the hutch. Okay, I love you. I'll call you when I'm on the way home, he tells me, and I can hear him putting the car in park. He must be at the restaurant. Love you, bye, I tell him before hanging up and sliding my phone back into my pocket. Why didn't he want me moving things? I'm not picking things up really. I'm just scooting. He seemed to get really stressed about me moving the hutch. The tapping starts again. Tap, tap. Tap, I don't think it's a pipe. Maybe an animal got in the wall? I put my ear up to the sliver of wall I cleared from moving the hutch and listen. The tapping is coming from this wall. Against Chase's wishes, I put my side against the hutch and move it the rest of the way. It moves easily, too easily. I lean down and notice tiny furniture slides have been placed underneath it already. That's odd, I've never seen this thing moved before. When I stand back up, the wall seems blank, the wood paneling uniform. I start knocking on the wall, trying to figure out if some critter is hiding. Once I move over the panel directly in front of me, the sound changes. The wall seems different here. I run my fingers along the panel and lightly push. The wall moves. I jump back and gasp, it's a door. It slowly opens and reveals a staircase. The tapping continues and it's louder. I'm shaking by this point. How did I not know there was a basement? All our neighbors had one, and I was so confused why we didn't. I take out my phone flashlight and head towards the stairs slowly. The tapping grows louder as I descend the dark stairs. The light is shaking from my hands. When I reach the bottom step, I flash the light around. It looks like a seemingly normal basement, just some old boxes. The tapping is coming from my right. I shine my light over there and I see a door, with a key next to it, hanging on the wall. I put my ear up to the door and I hear the tapping mixed with soft music. What the hell? I whisper. I try the door, but it's locked, so I try the key hanging next to it. It opens slowly. Warm light fills the basement as the door opens and the music grows louder. I look around the room and it is not what I expected. It looks like an apartment. There's a couch, a TV, a hallway leading to more rooms. I follow the tapping to the kitchen. There's a woman standing there at the counter. Her back is to me, but I can tell what she's doing. She's chopping vegetables, tap, tap. Tap, the knife rocking back and forth against a wooden cutting board. She chops something green and then slides it into a bowl. "Darling, you're early. Dinner is almost ready," she sings, turning over her shoulder. She gasps when she sees me. She steps back holding a knife. "Who are you?" she demands. "Who am I?" "You're in my basement," I yell. She studies me. "This is my home, and I will kindly ask you to leave." "It isn't time yet," she says calmly, still holding the knife. I'm in shock. She has an apron, her hair and makeup are done, and she's wearing heels. "What is? I don't know what," I'm stammering. I can feel myself getting nauseous, and I'm trying to breathe. Something over my shoulder catches her attention, and she sighs in relief. "Darling. I'm so glad you're home. Is this her?" "She seems confused," she says, putting the knife down. I slowly turn over my shoulder. And standing in the doorway is Chase. His face is a picture. It's a mixture of horror and shock. "Darling," I whisper. "Baby, I can explain." He takes a step towards me. "Daddy," a little voice squeals from the hallway to my right. A small boy runs up to Chase with his arms in the air. Chase picks him up, but his eyes haven't left me the whole time. The woman walks over to Chase and kisses him on the cheek. She is just dreadful, walking into my home and yelling at me. I thought she would be nicer. She shakes her head at me in disapproval. "You thought what?" I shriek. "I can explain, please just try to listen," Chase says, putting the child down and walking to me. "Come on, Liam, I'll give you your bath," the woman says, pushing past us into the hallway with the boy. "I'm going to be sick," I say out loud. Chase reaches for me. "Don't touch me," I scream. He freezes. "How long?" I demand. "How long has she been down here?" He smiles sadly, and I have my answer. "You're disgusting," I seethe, and we are done. I push past him and head for the stairs. Baby, please. Just listen, this could work. Her name is Julia, and she is almost perfect. She can't make me laugh like you can. We don't get along as well. But she cooks and she cleans, all the stuff you hate. So together, you're a perfect woman. Am I wrong for wanting my two girls under one roof? He asks, crossing into the dining room with me. So you locked her down there? I yell. No, well, yes, just until you were okay with the arrangement. And then we could all live together, he pleads. We've been together 5 years. You're sick, I whisper. Baby, just hear me out. This could work. You could be best friends, sisters even. He follows me up the stairs into our shared bedroom. We will not be sisters. I am getting my things and leaving now, and you can have Julia and your son. I scream, throwing things in my suitcase. You're not even giving it a chance. I thought you were different, he whispers. Yeah, well, I thought you didn't want kids, so we are both surprised right now, I say, slamming the suitcase and heading to the stairs. I already have Liam. I don't need another. He wasn't planned, he tells me, following me. I really don't care anymore. You are sick and disgusting, and I am leaving, I say, turning to face the door. From behind me, his voice changes. I'm sorry in advance, he says. I feel a sharp pinch of pain, and then everything goes dark. When I wake up, warm light fills my vision. Am I dreaming? I lift my head, I feel hungover. Tap, tap, tap. I look up and realize where I am. I'm in the apartment from the basement. I go to stand, and I see my clothes are different. I'm wearing heels, my hair feels curled, and I can feel lipstick on my lips. Liam is sitting on the floor in front of me, watching an old cartoon. I stand and run to the door I entered from the last time I was here. It's locked, I cry in frustration. Tap. Tap, tap, are you okay? A tiny voice asks. I just stare at the boy and shake my head slowly. I have candy, I can give you some if you want, he states with a smile. I shake my head. No, thank you though, I answer. I colored you this while you were sleeping. He shuffles papers in front of him before handing me a picture. It's a pink flower. Thank you, I say hesitantly. He smiles at me, I think he's waiting for me to say something else. Where is your mom? I ask him. He shrugs and turns back to the TV. I turn around and slowly step towards the kitchen. Julia is cutting vegetables for what looks like a pot roast. Soft music is playing from a radio next to her. When she hears me, she turns to me smiling. Oh good, you're awake, you can help me make the salad, she says, handing me a head of lettuce. What is going on? I ask her, looking around the room. She puts down the vegetables and crosses to me. She puts her hand on my arm and smiles sadly. I know this is hard, but trust me, it's easier to just do what he says, she tells me. What do you mean? I ask her. Just trust me, she says before turning back to her cooking and that insufferable sound. Tap, tap. Tap, W-I, are you so calm? I ask her. She puts her knife down and turns to me, a forced smile. Chase and I used to fight a lot, he said it wasn't working. And it wasn't, he was right, but then I was pregnant. And it was a wonderful surprise, she says, smiling at Liam engrossed in a kid's show about a boy with a magic flute. Liam is my life, she continues. Chase made me an offer. He said if I stay down here, cook dinner for him every night, clean the upstairs when asked, and get along with whatever new wife he brings in, listen to his cues, basically be on call for all his needs. He will take care of us financially forever. I don't have any family, any education, and he's helping me. She smiles tightly. It doesn't reach her eyes. His cues, I ask. Like if I'm being too loud, he will stomp his foot or something as a warning. He gets upset if I don't listen, so you'll have to learn that, she says, turning back around. The beer bottle. He didn't accidentally knock it over, so he expects me to just live down here, I ask. Oh no, not forever, just until you're trained, she answers bluntly. Tap. Tap, tap. He thinks we can be the perfect wife, she whispers, putting the lid on the Dutch oven. And besides, she says, putting the roast in the oven, he tells me we can teach each other things. Maybe you can give Liam a sibling one day. I'm going to be sick. The clock on the wall chimes. Oh, Chase will be here any minute. I'll pick up. You check yourself so you look perfect. He likes that. She rushes out before disappearing to the living room. In her movements, I finally see. She's terrified. I hear the door begin to unlock. Quick, she says, clear the dishes for me off the counter. In a haze, I turn around and put the cutting board and dirty bowls in the sink. The door opens. Honeys, I'm home, Chase's booming voice calls. Julia goes up to him immediately to offer him a kiss. I'm still standing by the counter when he approaches me, ruffling Liam's hair along the way. And how are my favorite girls today? He says, but directed towards me. I see Julia over his shoulder have a panicked look on her face, and I don't know why, but I want to protect her. I give him an easy smile, like I used to. We are great, Julia and I are fast friends, and she is a whiz in the kitchen. Would you like your salad now? I smile. His eyes sparkle in happiness. Yes, I would, thank you. He kisses my forehead. I'm going to go wash up, let's go, buddy. He takes Liam down the hallway to where I'm assuming the bathroom is. I'll set the table, Julia says, lightly touching my arm. Then she mouths thank you before turning away to the table. I watch her with curiosity, while I hear Liam giggling down the hallway. I will save them both. I clutch the knife behind my back that Julia was chopping the vegetables with and slide it into my apron pocket, while Julia's back is turned. I will save all of us. I've worked as a crime scene investigator for 25 years. This is my weirdest case. On the 25th of November 2018, the victim pulled into a budget motel in the early hours of the morning. He booked room 12 for a 3-day stay, and on the 4th day, the owner of the establishment sent his son to check on the victim. What he found was something that someone his age should never have witnessed. Or anyone for that matter. By the time I arrived at the scene, it had already been cordoned off. Members of the county police department had swarmed the area, and in the absence of the sun, it was the blue and red flashing lights that cast their glow over the building. I made my way past the tenants who were half asleep, doing their best at giving witness testimonial. I stepped by a particularly shaken forensic pathologist who was trying to call his mother and entered room 12. Now, I've been working as a crime scene investigator for more than 20 years. I have dealt with some truly confounding scenes before. In 2006, a body of a missing hiker was found in the woods just on the county line. It had been burnt to a crisp, but only the upper half. Below the waist was completely untouched, as was the surrounding area. More recently, a farmer reported a break-in just after New Year's Eve. Presumably, someone had broken into his warehouse, which housed an industrial animal carcass shredder. It had been used in the night, and a pile of jellied flesh was found clumped at its mouth. Horrifically, it was eventually proven to be human, although couldn't be identified beyond that. Only one other thing was found at the scene. Within the remains was a small steel plaque, about the size of a business card, with the number 2916 engraved in it. I say all this for simple context. I am no stranger to the unexplainable, but what I saw in room 12, it still keeps me up at night. The following are excerpts from the crime scene report I filed that day. Incident number, 24/7/11 date of incident, November 29, 2018 time of arrival. 11:54 p.m. location, room 12 Sir Sleep-A-Lot Motel, redacted, county reporting officer. Detective redacted. Victim name, John Doe name yet to be confirmed through fingerprint or DNA, gender. Male age, estimated to be mid-40s occupation. Unknown suspects. None at present. The victim checked into the Sir Sleep-A-Lot Motel on the morning of November 25, 2018. He informed the motel owner, Mr. John K., that he would be staying for 3 days. No known associates or visitors during the stay. Victim was found laying on bed in supine position. Victim had skin removed crudely. Patches of flesh hang loosely, revealing bone in some areas. Teeth indents on right part of pelvic bone will be examined. The victim's head is absent from the scene. Notably, the body had been dressed in what appeared to be women's undergarments, specifically a pair of lace stockings and a torn satin slip. Neither items of clothing belonged to the victim. The body was likely dressed post-mortem. Addendum, marks on right part of pelvic bone were positively identified as being from a human juvenile, estimated as between the ages of 3 and 6. No dental record have been traced. Blood covers every inch of the room's 4 walls and carpet. The blood spray appears to be inconsistent with splatter from traumatic injury, possible use of pressurized device. The amount of blood was determined to be approximately 2 gallons, or 135% of the victim's total volume. Teeth were found on the room's desk, 33 in total, arranged into a circular pattern 10 inches in diameter. The careful arrangement appears to be ritualistic. The teeth are currently assumed to have been belonging to the victim. The location of the victim's head has not been identified. Addendum, the findings of the forensic odontologist have determined that 32 of the 33 teeth belong to a person matching the victim's description, a Caucasian male in his 40s. One of the teeth matches a younger Caucasian female. It was eventually connected through dental records to be from 24-year-old redacted, Hadland, reported missing in 1997. The Hadland case was archived in 1999 due to absence of evidence. The victim's tongue was discovered in the bathroom sink, exhibiting a complete severance at the base. The incision appeared clean and precise, suggesting the use of a surgical grade or extremely sharp cutting instrument. Notably, the tongue was found in isolation within the sink, devoid of any other biological material, indicating that it may have been intentionally relocated post-excision. First responders noted signs of tampering on the coin-operated television in the room, which intermittently activated to static approximately once an hour. The television will be deconstructed for forensic examination to recover latent fingerprints and other trace evidence related to its manipulation. Addendum: both of the victims' eyes were recovered from the interior of the room's coin-operated television. The television screen had been removed, and the eyes were placed within the cavity where the cathode ray tube was situated. This positioning suggests deliberate placement, indicating a possible symbolic motive. The only item of clothing found at the scene belonging to the victim was one pair of denim jeans, which witness John K. recalls being worn by the victim the morning he checked in. The jeans were contaminated with the victim's blood. In the pockets were found a one-way bus ticket, one packet of apple-flavored gum, and a butt. No other possessions of the victim were found. A pair of small, leather lace-up shoes were found at the foot of the bed. From the lack of bloodstains, we can assume the shoes were placed there after the homicide. Addendum: a shirt likely belonging to the victim was found 3 weeks later partially buried in a field in Redacted, a small town 240 miles south of the crime scene. The shirt matched the description given by John K. of the victim. Blood samples taken from the shirt were a strong match to those taken from the crime scene. Although without the identity of the victim, a definitive link is challenging to corroborate. Addendum B: the small shoes found at the crime scene were dated to 1909 and determined to have some value among antique dealers. Due to their small size, they can be assumed to be children's shoes. The room showed no obvious signs of damage. The furniture appeared to have been undisturbed, although a Bible was missing from the bedside cabinet. Neither John K. nor his son David, lead witnesses of the case, recall seeing the victim with any luggage. For this reason, it is unclear if his possessions were taken or if he simply had none to begin with. The motive of this homicide remains unclear. I'll save you the rest of the procedural formalities. I've lost track of how many nights I've spent awake, staring at my computer screen reading and rereading this report. It stayed with me for the past 6 years, constantly at the back of mind. At my personal behest, the case remained open despite insufficient evidence and a complete lack of any leads. When it was finally shelved at the beginning of this year, they were no closer to solving it than we were the day we found him. Earlier this week, I learned that it had been reopened by the FBI. I assumed that there must be someone else in this department who felt the same way about the case as I did, strong enough to reach out and request assistance from the feds. I was tasked with compiling any and all digital evidence we had on the case onto a USB flash. I felt weird combing through all the reports, files, and forensics. It felt like I was visiting an old friend. I added the documents I wrote up on the day, the dozens of crime scene photos and witness statements. I've studied them all meticulously myself. I doubted some Yale boy with a corner office could do any better. I kept trailing through the earmarked files, checking and double-checking if there was anything I'd missed. It was dark now. I spent the day working from home, hunched over my computer in my sorry excuse for a library. That's what my job mostly consists of now. I couldn't wait for retirement. Maybe then I would have the time to read some of these books I have lying around. I decided I was finished for the night. I'd squeezed every piece of relevant information I could find onto that hard drive. It was up to the FBI now. I only hoped that if our victim left any family behind, they could one day get some closure from this. I was about to shut my computer down when something caught my eye. Witness 1, MP3. It was an audio file. Somehow I hadn't noticed it before. Hell, I don't think I had even listened to it before. To my knowledge, all the witness statements taken that night were writ. I clicked on it, figuring it must have been taken from David K., the kid who'd found the body. I took a sip of my last dregs of coffee and sat back in my chair, jacking up the volume. The audio wasn't the best quality. It was shrouded in the static of an analog recording, and to my shock, the supposed first witness had a woman's voice. The following is a transcript of what was on that file. First responder, what were you doing in the area before you discovered the body? Witness 1, I'm staying in room 14, the room next door to where it happened. Been there for the past 2 weeks, thereabouts. I've come on hard times recently, you know how it is. I was living out of a van until this, but it wasn't exactly reliable. First responder, apologies ma'am, I meant what were you doing immediately before discovering the body? Witness 1, right. Well, I came back from work around 9. I clean at the elementary school in town. I came back and spent the rest of the day in my room. I had dinner and I was just catching up with the news before I went asleep. First responder, can you describe how and when you found the body? Witness 1, gee, it must have been around 10. I was turning in for the night when I heard a banging noise from next door. I guessed he must have brought a lady friend over, so I tried my best to ignore it, but it kept getting louder. It didn't sound like a headboard neither, more like someone chopping wood. It was too much for me to ignore, so I got up to go complain. I found the door unlocked, and it opened wide up when I knocked. That's when I saw him, that poor man. First responder, could you please describe the scene you came across as detailed as you can? Witness 1, it was terrible, just terrible. I saw my neighbor kneeling in the corner of his room. His head had been cut off. Can you imagine that? There was blood covering everything around him. I almost vomited there and then. Then I saw the man in the bathroom. There's a pause. First responder, could you please go on? You said there was someone else at the scene. Witness 1, yeah, a real weirdo. I didn't notice him at first. He was just peeking out from behind the bathroom door, watching me. When I did finally notice him, we just stared at each other for a moment or two. Then he just strolled out from his little hiding place. Another pause. First responder, please continue. I assure you everything you have to say will be of some importance to our investigation. Start by describing this man you saw. Witness 1, okay then. He was a freak, I'll say it. When I got a good look at him, I saw that he had this great bulbous head. He was bald as a newborn, and the entire back part of his head was all deformed and sagging down. I think he had this disease. Oh, what's it called? A boy I went to school with had it. First responder, are you thinking of hydrocephalus? Witness 1, yes, yeah, that's it, hydrocephalus. But it was much worse than that kid I knew. Sorry if I'm coming across as rude, but it looked like some horrible octopus. And the front part of his head was far too thin. He has this pointy chin and cheekbones. His eyes were as bulging as his skull. All yellow and white. I think he had cataracts. Oh, and he must have been around 7 feet tall, at least. He was hunching over where he met the ceiling. First responder, can you describe what he was wearing? Witness 1, sure. He had this battered old duster coat on. It was black, but he was covered in these stitched rags of red and green. The coat hung down to the floor, but I could make out the tips of brown leather boots poking out from the hem. First responder, can you? Witness 1, oh, pardon my interrupting, but the man, he was holding this. Well, I don't know what it was. It looked like a lobster pot with a handle and must be 24 blades sticking out of it. Knives mostly, and razor blades, axe heads, chains, that sort of stuff. Anyway, go on. First responder, right. What did you do when he came closer to you? Witness 1, well, I ran. I just ran. Out of the motel and down the road until I realized everything I owned was in my room. I didn't fancy having to start over from nothing for a third time, so I came back, and that's when you bumped into me. First responder, all right, and how long was it from discovering the body until you called 911? Witness 1, oh, I didn't call 911, honey. First responder, you didn't. Witness 1, oh no, by the time I came back from my little jog, the place was already crawling with police. I still haven't been allowed back in my room. First responder, are you aware that end? His speech became muffled after that until the recording was nothing but static hum that been in the background since the beginning. After hearing this for the first time, I didn't know what to think. I just sat in my old oak chair until my wife came in to tell me that she was going to bed. I kissed her goodnight and went back to aimlessly staring at the computer screen. Eventually, I closed it and stood up. I took the USB stick and left it on my desk. I left the room and locked the door behind me. I changed, washed, and climbed into bed with my wife. I kissed her on the back of her neck and tried to fall asleep. That thing that did this was still out there, but that wasn't my problem anymore. She's not my daughter. I don't know what the fuck she is. I'm not sleeping tonight. No way, she's humming again. Not a real song, just 3 broken notes, the same ones. Off-key, repeating, over and over. Like a fucked-up lullaby she made just to drive nails into my brain. She knows I hear it. She hums louder when I try to drown it out. She's in her room right now, door wide open, sitting on the edge of her bed. Staring at the wall, not moving, not blinking. She's been like that for, I don't know how long, time's slippery lately. I should explain, or maybe I shouldn't, I don't know. My daughter, her name is Mia, she's 8, at least she was. I called her name last night. Mia, just like always, I wasn't even thinking. She turned real slow and said, "That's not what I'm called now." Then she smiled. And it wasn't a human smile, it wasn't hers. It looked like someone who had seen a smile once and was trying to recreate it using the wrong muscles. Like the idea of smiling was floating somewhere behind her eyes, but nothing connected right. It made my stomach twist. I didn't say anything, I just walked away. That's kind of a theme lately. This didn't start last night or last week, it's been, I don't know, a while too long. My head doesn't work like it used to. Things smear together when I try to rewind. She used to draw. Constantly, little stick people, cats. Bright suns with sunglasses, that kind of shit. Her art was all over the fridge. All over the walls, she was obsessed with coloring. Now she just sits, or hums, or stands outside in the rain and doesn't blink. No jacket, no shoes, cold mud up to her knees. I asked her once, "Why are you sitting out here?" She looked up at me, face soaked, hair plastered to her forehead, and said, "Because I don't get cold anymore." I tried to laugh. "Oh yeah, since when?" She didn't laugh. Didn't even smile that time. She just said, "Since I stopped being her." It's the little shit that eats away at you. She doesn't blink unless she remembers to. She eats, but only if I put the food in front of her. She walks too lightly, like her feet aren't quite touching the ground. She talks, differently now. Her voice still sounds like a little girl, but it's wrong. Like it's reading off a script. No emotion, no rhythm. No connection between the words. It's like watching a puppet talk after the puppeteer cut the strings. Sometimes she calls me dad. Sometimes she says him. Once she called me host. I didn't ask what that meant. I didn't want the answer. 3 nights ago, I woke up and she was standing next to my bed. I didn't hear her walk in. The floor didn't creak. She was just there. Her face maybe a foot away from mine, eyes wide open. Too wide, they were black. No whites, no pupils, just bottomless black. Like tar, like sinkholes in her skull. I bolted upright so hard I nearly fell off the bed. She didn't move, didn't blink. Didn't react, she just said, "You shouldn't have buried her so deep." I told myself I didn't know what that meant. But I did. I remembered the lake. I don't want to write this part. I don't, but it won't stop clawing at the back of my skull. I wake up with blood in my mouth from grinding my teeth. Last summer, Mia went missing for 4 hours. We were out by the lake like we always did every summer. A little trail in the woods. I was on a bench scrolling my phone. She was picking flowers. I looked up. She was gone. Not a sound, not a scream, just gone. I ran. I screamed her name. I tore up and down the trail until my throat bled, called the cops, searched dogs. Neighbors, the whole fucking cavalry, nothing. And then 4 hours later, she walked out of the woods, barefoot, soaked, but smiling. She said, "I went in the water, but it wasn't cold." They checked her. Not a scratch, no bruises, just wet. They told me kids wander, but my daughter wouldn't have wandered, not like that. And she wouldn't have come back smiling, and she wouldn't have said what she said next. Do we still have ice cream at home? Like nothing happened. Like the woods didn't swallow her and spit out something else. Now I don't think she ever came back. I don't think what walked out of the trees that day was her. I think I know what I did. I just can't say it, not yet, but she keeps saying things. I played her favorite song once, the one she used to dance to as a baby, Itsy Bitsy Spider. I did the hand motions. just to see if she remembered. She stared through me like I was a stranger on a subway. And then she whispered, "He's not in the drain anymore." I asked her what that meant. She said, "He lives in me now." Tonight's the worst it's been. She's standing in the hallway again. Necks twisted, head tilted like a dog that hears something high-pitched. Her mouth is twitching, jaw moving like it's chewing on something invisible. Her hands are clenched. She hasn't blinked in maybe 10 minutes, just standing there, watching. Waiting for what? I can't sleep. I won't. Because I know if I blink too long, she'll be closer. She doesn't want to pretend anymore. She doesn't need to. She knows I remember. If anyone finds this, if I go missing. If there's blood on the walls or my face on the news, just know I didn't hurt her. She was already gone. She's not my daughter. Not anymore. She never came back from that lake. I think maybe I put her there. I think maybe I had to, and now something else is here. In her place, in my house, in her clothes. It's watching me type this right now. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you'll be notified when the next one goes up. I'd also love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.